Hello, gamers. Welcome. Today, we're going to add player controls. Let's go ahead to Unity and we're going to go into our scripts folder and open up the player controller script. So you should just be able to double click on it. Okay. And that will open it up. First thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in some pre-built Unity libraries. Okay, so right now we have this like using statement up here. We're going to also bring in some more like kind of like pre-built Unity stuff. I have this code in the lesson 3, where you're watching this. So just copy this, and we're going to start off here. Let's go back to VS Code. Here we go. And we're just going to paste over this. Okay, so this is basically going to be, as you know, the name of this lesson implies, we're going to be using the Unity pre-built like input system. Unity has a bunch of pre-built things because we don't want to actually reinvent the wheel. These are things that we already have, like Unity has made for us. Obviously, games are going to be using some sort of way for a player to control the character. So they have a way to read what the player is doing with their keyboard, with their mouse, whatever. So we are going to go ahead. Last time we had worked with our player character and they just moved across the screen when we press play. Obviously, that's not a very fun game. So we're going to go ahead and start doing some different things. So we'll be editing this code in a bit. But first of all, we need to go ahead and put in some information about how to get information from the keyboard. So let's do it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to declare what's called a variable. Okay, so a variable is going to be a kind of a holder that's going to change. Okay, the value of a variable will vary. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to call this variable horizontal. So first of all, we say here the type of variable we're going to declare is going to be of the type float. So that's going to be like 0.01 or 1.5 or 4.2. Okay, so those are all sorts of floats. Integers are like round like sort of numbers like 5 or 6. Anyways, float horizontal, and we're going to set that initially to 0.0f. So again, we're going to initially give the value of our variable called horizontal a value of 0, and that f is there to indicate that it is a float. Okay, now we're going to go ahead. This is going to be sort of three coding concepts actually. We're going to do what's called an if statement. An if statement is going to execute some code based upon conditions that we specify. So we're going to go ahead here and we're going to say if, and then we're going to go ahead and create some parentheses. And it's going to be whatever if the condition that we set in the parentheses is true, execute some code. So in this case, the test we're going to do, and this is going to be based upon that information this library that we're kind of accessing here with the input system. We're going to be basically checking if the user is pressing the left arrow. So we go ahead here. We're going to say here, and now this is, I'm going to increase our size here so you can read this. If keyboard dot current dot right arrow key dot is pressed. Okay, so it's case sensitive. Okay, so capital K, lowercase c, lowercase r, capital A, capital K, lowercase I, capital P. All right, so this is basically saying access the keyboard, check if it's happening right this second, and is the right arrow key being pressed? Okay, so I know that seems like a lot, but now, so this is going to be the condition we're checking. We're going to now specify the code that we want to execute. So I'm going to go ahead here. I'm going to create a squiggly bracket. The squiggly bracket is going to be like down from your 0 key and a little bit to the right. So we're going to do an open squiggly bracket by pressing Shift and then the squiggly bracket key. Okay. And you see here it made its sort of brother. We're going to go ahead and press Enter. And now this is going to be, if this condition is true, the code between these brackets is going to be executed. So if we're pressing the right arrow key, we want our character to move to the right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to specify that we want to change the value of this variable by -1 because we're going to be sorry, +1 because we're going to be going to the right. Okay. So sorry, I misspoke. So we're going to say here horizontal is going to be equal to 1.0f. Okay, so that should sort of like ring a bell. All right. So that is going to now specify that our horizontal key is going to be equal to, it's going to increment. So it's going to go to the right. So now we need to go ahead and update sort of some information down here. So we are going to set position X equal to, like basically, we want to make it so that it's going to be positive if we're going to the right and negative if we're going to the left. So we're going to go ahead here and we're going to update our this, for me, it's line 27. We're going to update this to position.x, and we're going to say here, we're going to keep this 0.1f, but we're going to multiply it by, so multiply in what this coding language is going to be the asterisk symbol. It's going to be shift key 8, okay, multiplied by horizontal. Okay, so we're basically going to get it so that like if, and it'll become clear soon, we're going to make it so that if they press the right arrow key, horizontal is going to be a +1, and then when we multiply this, it's going to be, that's going to stay positive. And we're going to make it so that if it's goes to the left, if they press the left arrow key, it's going to go ahead and make this into a negative number. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right. So we're going to just copy and paste this code because we only need to make one change. Well, two changes. Okay. So we have here keyboard.current. It's not going to be right arrow key. Let's do left arrow key. And then we want to set it so that it is not a +1, okay, but a -1. So then what's going to happen is all of this code. So let's save it. Okay, so we can go to File, Save, or just Control S, and then let's come back and let's see if hopefully there's no issues. There is issues because I did not I did not use my semicolons. I've been coding in Python too much. So actually this is good. So it looks here, it says here, hey, I have a problem. Line 26, character 31. So and it says, hey, I'm looking for a semicolon, but it's not there. So this is good. I can say, all right, line 26. Oh, didn't do it. Okay. We also forgot to do line 21 as well. So let's go ahead here. Let's save that now. Let's come back. I'm just looking to see if I missed anything else. No, looks good. Line 17. Again, Josh Fleming. Not doing great. There we go. Okay, let's try that one more time. There we go. Okay. So now when we press play, it goes really fast, but now we can move to the right and the left. Okay, we'll refine this down the road. So now, only thing we have to do is do up and down. So if we go ahead here, we're going to observe sort of the same kind of like logic. So I'm actually going to copy and paste this entire thing. Okay. Oh, I press Control B and not the right thing. So here we go. So let's do Control V. There we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna just go ahead here. Cool. And this is a good thing. I can put a comment in and we'll say here up movement. I did // That's gonna be stuff that up and down movement. Okay, cool. So now we've got horizontal that we had copied before. So we're going to change this to, instead of horizontal, we're going to say vertical. Okay. So this is going to basically reset, just as we did with our horizontal movement. It's going to start off and it's going to be whatever vertical or horizontal were before. It's going to reset it to 0 every frame. And then what will happen is that like these two if statements will change that as far as like to negative or positive. Cool. So anyways, keyboard.current, and it's not going to be right arrow. It's going to be up. We'll say here up, and that'll be positive. Okay, so up arrow key is pressed, and we don't want to change it to, we don't want to change horizontal anymore. We want to do vertical. Keyboard.current left arrow key, we want to say down, and we want to change it to vertical. Cool. Okay, so now this is going to be a little bit, we can copy and paste again. We can use the same logic here. Okay, so this is referring to our X position along the X-axis. We want to change this all to Y, and then this isn't going to be horizontal, it'll be vertical. So let's go ahead here. Let's copy and paste. Position Y equals position Y, and this isn't going to be horizontal, but vertical. Okay, and so we look here, just this is from our other lesson. Position is a vector 2. So position, the variable we have here, contains X information and Y information. We access it using this period, okay? So in this case here, this is updating our position X, this is updating our position Y, and then we're passing that information to our character on the screen. So let's save this. Fingers crossed, no mess ups. Here we go. All right, good. At least no issues from the compiler. So let's play. Cool. We have right and left, up and down. The world is good. I wish you the best of luck. Great stuff.